So tell us about this beauty. What's this one?
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. This is a what used to be known as a Dakota in the military. It was also known as a Skytrain. This is a C-47. This airplane really comes out of the commercial world. This was designed for airliner use pre-World War II, and most of them were converted into military transports. So the purpose of this airplane, there's no offensive weapons on the airplane. It's strictly designed to carry troops or cargo. They can also configure the airplane to operate as a medevac airplane.
Oh wow! Okay,
so this airplane, multi-purpose, multi-uses.
So how many people could fit in this plane?
This one, they could configure it to probably take about 25 people. I think it normally would fly with about 22. It typically has a two-man crew and maybe a navigator. So there's a pilot and a co-pilot, and if need be, there might be a navigator station set up in the airplane.
So even though it could be a medevac, is there any bombs at all carrying, or sometimes?
No, this airplane
never?
is not configured at all to carry any kind of offensive or defensive weaponry. So it doesn't carry bombs. It's not a bomber.
Okay.
It has no guns on it in this configuration. During the Vietnam conflict, some of these airplanes were still being used, and they were configured for offensive bomb.
You kind of had to be if you were going there, huh?
Yeah, they used to have very, very special purposes. But this aircraft generally was used as transport.
When did this one retire here at Castle?
This one, I don't really know. I think this one's been with us since the early days of the museum, so probably the mid-'80s that it came over.
Is that your girlfriend up there? Who's that lady?
No, that's typical of a lot of the nose art that was used during World War II by the crews. A lot of these airplanes would be crewed over and over again by the same group of folks, and usually the pilot in command assigned to the airplane and his crew would select something that they felt comfortable with or they related to. It's somewhat akin to the old sailing ships with statuettes attached to the bow of the ship. It was a lucky charm.
Well, you had to be if you had no weapons and you were carrying some people that were injured.
It was. The airplane actually did go into very hot areas, and they had no way or intent to defend themselves.
Do you know the last time this one flew?
No, I don't. This probably flew in the mid-'70s. These airplanes were being produced from about 1938 on up until about 1946, 47. And there are still a few of these in private service and in commercial service around the world.
Have you ever ridden one?
I have. Have I? No, I have not. I had to think. I've been in a few of them over the years that do fly, but I have never gone up in one, not of this type.
This is awesome. This is another great plane to check out.
It is. Let me point out while we're looking, if you look under the wing, you'll notice that there's a couple of black and white stripes on the underside of the wing. And there's a similar set of stripes on the other wing, and then there's a band around the back of the airplane.
Okay.
And those were indicative of markings that were put on during the Normandy invasion in World War II.
Oh, wow.
There were so many aircraft being put up into the air, both Allied aircraft and German-related aircraft, that they didn't know if folks on the grounds could really tell them apart in that hot environment. So what they did at the very last minute, they painted these black and white stripes on the airplane so that others would recognize that as an Allied airplane. And
that's our plane. Wait, that's not ours.
But
that could be very confusing.
But that is a novel event.
But this one wasn't produced in the...
This would have been flying during that period of time.
This would have been. So this actually did
But this airplane, I don't know for certain, was actually in the invasion. But
so that is a long span that this plane... Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is probably one of the longest flying type aircraft in the country. This airplane, like I said, it starts flying in service in the late 30s. And
it wasn't fast, though. Flying. This is one of the slower...
Well, for its time, it was. Yeah, I mean, it's not fast at all by today's standards.
Right.
But in its day, it'd be somewhere in the area of about 230 knots cruising speed. So that is pretty fast for the 1930s.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an amazing history about this airplane and the progression into these for commercial service, and that's kind of way beyond... It's probably what I know more of, but it's way beyond it for what we want to talk to.
Well, thank you so much for showing us this one. And remember, when you come and visit Castle Museum for Open Cockpit Day, come and check this one out.